Lecce is a city wrapped within its own beauty, flaunting its past without ever abandoning it, and living in a constant expectation for its present, nurturing itself in its own innate beauty. Lecce holds its stones together by telling stories, the locals passing down its legends, like that of an unrequited love engraved in a corner of a street. Two youths gaze at each other from the windows of their palaces, facing one another. They fall in love. The girl's family opposes her feelings, and the pain leads to her death. The man has the face of his lost love carved in stone. Thus, a bond that could have lasted a lifetime, here in Lecce, becomes eternal. This is a timeless place, named Rudie before Lupiae, and Lupiae before Lecce. A history which begins 600 years before Christ, birthplace to the first Latin poet, Quinto Ennio, descending from the Messapian queen Uipa and the Greek king Idomeneo. An ancient history with no beginning, as ancestral as myths, and as true as the legend of a king who may have existed, or perhaps not. No boundary exists between the old and the new cities. The doors built to protect the city instead greeted both wanderers and emperors, granting them each a warm welcome. Greeks, Messapian, Romans, Normans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Spanish. Each have left their testimony without canceling the others, each contributing to build this boundless city, blurring the lines of separation. Lecce is an open-air theater stage. The Roman theater trespasses underneath the treasure trove of narrow streets that intertwined around it as if protecting it. Not far away lies a still partially hidden oval, reminding us of a long-ago empire in the millennia when Lecce was great. It lies there as we walk around it on sunny days and during the frivolous nights spent chatting in the square, under the alert paternal gaze of Saint Oronzo. One amphitheater leads us to another, which in turn makes room for a church that rises next to a castle, following an imaginary line of time and space that knows no interruption. Tancredi, the king of Sicily, who survived a storm on his way back through the Channel of Otranto, built the church of Saints Niccolò and Cataldo during the 12th century. A medieval treasure in a Baroque city. Columns, canvases, altars, and frescoes make one dizzy with vertigo. A blaze of colors, the likes of which have never been seen before. Lecce is also the city of 100 churches, subdued by kings and emperors, but devoted to the Pope's influence even more than God himself. Scattered across the geography of the city, from the center to the suburbs, these churches dictate the rhythm of the city more than the seasons ever could. They compete with one another for their worshipers, like the Church of St. Anthony of Padua, also known as Church of Fulgencio, which hides an exuberant, rich beauty behind its neo-Romanesque facade. A beauty which takes nothing away from faith, but whose primary intent was to attract the people of Lecce, like bees to a flower. Here we find ancient times, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, the Enlightenment. Here are faith and paganism. Here we find cartapesta, or papier-mâché, an art born from the poverty of barbershops, maestri with wrinkly hands, modeling saints and pastors, using the poorest materials you could imagine. Christs, virgins, angels, and nativity scene characters seem to surface from the depths of a fable or from a child's dream. Cartapesta finds its expression in the clumsy and dreamy doll-like figurines, or in the cheeky laughter of the carnival masks. In a world of paper, memories and dreams, sorrow and laughter are inseparable. Cartapesta, just like the Baroque style, is a way to recount the lives of others, exorcising one's fears and giving wings to dreams. Here the Baroque style paints the stone, blends darkness and light, splendor and faith. It is our Mediterranean sadness, sensual and lost, a bit Homeric and a tad Arabian. It's a sorrow that bears no pain, only a dream and the unknown. Sometimes it captures our gaze in its thousand embroideries. Other times it sends us towards the sky in a glimpse. It is stone among the stones, a magic that transforms itself under one's eyes, as our glance focuses on once invisible details. The golden curls, the wispy forms that almost leap from the walls to meet us halfway. The Baroque is the essence of who we are, forever engraved in stone. Let us look at the facades of the churches and the palaces, and hope we are able to understand the sense of time that came before the one we live in today. We do not know, no one knows, if the Duomo bell tower is an attempt to bring the sky onto earth, or instead the dream to turn our entire world into sky. In any case, it is a symbol of a desperate illusion, built in tuffo stone and dressed for a celebration. The Leccese Baroque style is a metaphor for the people of the South, anchored to their land by the weight of history, and rather than surrendering, it shapes the stone, nailing it down into so many masterpieces of beauty. In the squares, among the streets, in the courtyards, these sculptural constellations talk to one another, maybe about us women and men, so similar, yet so different from our ancestors. In the historic center, the movement of the streets, the openness of the squares, the overlooks of the courtyards, the layouts of the arcades, and the long balconies promote the idea of a theater city, an urban space for voices, for appearances, for encounters, or for simply getting lost in. Light and time carve the stone of the facades, the courtyards, the cornices, the flowery reliefs surrounding the windows of the palaces. The passing of the years and centuries has entered the embroideries and time itself, as once the stonemasons had done, drawing, dampening, darkening, filing down, smoothing out, softening. It's a movement that constantly changes the city. It is a wonder of stone, or rather, it is the wonder inside the stone that most catches the eyes of those who stroll down Via Matteo di Lecce and turn towards the Santa Croce. Its facade appears suddenly glorious, excessive, to the point that it seems impossible to understand it all, to grasp the entirety of its greatness. And yet, once the viewer's gaze starts to wander among the thousands of details as they branch off, Santa Croce abandons its totality to let itself be searched and to be questioned. Behind the facade, the interior, with its naves, columns, and altars, explodes in a celebration that the local stone has made tender and fluent. Santa Croce is a beauty that has suddenly been set free at the end of a small street, open to the surprise of thousands of onlookers. The Baroque style belongs to us, like the maternal song everyone knows even if no one has ever sung it. Lecce is a condition of the soul. It is more than what it appears, beyond the facades, a stranger to time. It lives in the emotions, in the feelings, in the quietness of the streets, in the cold winter wind, in the light that invades the city for hours on summer days. It is in the melancholy of afternoons spent in boredom, in its workshops, in the salt that dries onto the skin, in the Christmas markets, in the fast and wild flight of a swallow. Here many things want to appear as they are not. This is perhaps the true meaning of Baroque and papier-mâché. Man who wants to appear as nature, imitating something he can never be. Behind the perfection of the shapes is the fragility of every existence, the melancholia for what could have been and has not, the wait for what is still not, but that one day or another will be.